All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we're going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honor to the apostle and great millstone, our teachers, and salutations to the Akim, the teaching the truth of the folk on the urban trends of the city, man. So this is the brother Manakia from GMS Chicago, and I have
the brother Zakaria.
And we just in a little transit on our way to class, and just the spirit hopped on me, and I just wanted to, I guess we gonna go through the spirit, but hey, the time we living in, man. I guess, you know, this the year of prophecy, things is cracking down, and you gotta be faithful into death, right? You'll get Revelation, the 2nd chapter, and that's how you receive that crown of life. Because, hey, if you don't endure in the times that we living in, hey, you won't receive that crown of life that the Lord said that he was going to give us. Because when you read in 2nd Andrews, it said that it was a man that was taller than the rest that's going to put crowns on top of the elect head, man.
That's going to Yahweh Shai.
Come.
Well, this Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
And that's what's about to happen, man. Hey, with persecution arising, with certain things turning up, hey, be prepared that your family will turn you in. Everyone is gonna come against you. Hey, cause guess what? Hey, they gonna think that you the problem, and you really is the solution. So, hey, the devil is gonna come down with great wrath. It tell you that in Revelation what?
12.
Get it, brother. Then we'll jump back.
This Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
And that's what it is. This devil know that he have but a short time. Look at all the things that the Lord gave us in Matthew 24 about the signs that of his coming, man. And things is wrapping up. Hey, with more society is collapsing, hey, this man is going to come with great wrath and cast us into prison, man. And want to kill us and torture us and want us to turn and give up give up what we believe in. But we have to be faithful unto death. You go back to it unless you got something, brother.
Yeah, I'm finna grab something.
Cause hey, there's plenty of accounts. Men in the Lord was under persecution or went through certain things and trials and tribulations under the hands of the heathen. And what we do, and we always hold our integrity. So we have to pray for those things. We have to be faithful regardless of whatever come upon us, man.
This Revelation chapter 12 and verse 11. It saying they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. You know, and that's going into the ones that's out here risking their lives for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. You know, so no matter what come against us, we gonna keep that faith in the Lord, no matter what the Lord put in our face, man. Even if it's death.
That's right, because hey, we don't fear death. You gotta understand, the Lord, the body go into the ground and the spirit go back to the Heavenly Father. So for a lot of people be like, I'm gonna die in this and do that. Hey, you don't understand the concept of death, man. See, we don't want to go through this chaos that's about to happen upon America and Babylon the Great. Hey, we don't want this destruction that the Lord have for upon our people, man. So we want to miss that death.
I got another precept for you. This St. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. You know, so we rather to fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai because he controls life and death. You know, he controls the spirits, man. We don't fear man. We rather fall in the hands of the Lord, man. This Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10, it say, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
And that's the thing, man. We got to be faithful unto death, and the Lord said he's going to give us a crown of life. Hey, I speak for Akim too, man. We should want that, man. That's the whole reason us fighting, to get that salvation, and us to get and be in mortality, man. And for the Lord to put them crowns on top of our head. You get James, the 1st chapter, I believe, verse 12.
Okay.
Because first we have to endure. That's the whole key. When you come in this truth, if you lead out the truth, all your works that you done in the truth is done away with.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to endure the things that you suffering, and you're gonna suffer a lot of things because the Lord said that we was gonna be tried. Well, tried, man.
Okay, and we gonna suffer anyway. Because that's the lot that we in right now. Right along with 2/3 of our people, we all suffering the same stuff, but we hope for that wab, and we hope for that everlasting kingdom.
That's right.
We hope for that crown. But this James chapter 1 and verse 12, it say, "Blessed the man that endure temptation."
You hear that? Blessed the man that endure temptation, man. So we gonna be tried regardless.
The Lord said, "He said, my son, if thou come to serve me, prepare thy soul for temptation." You know, and it says, "For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life,
A crown of life, you see?
which the Lord have promised to them that love him."
That promise that love him, man. Because the Lord is not slack of his promise, man. He said we endure and we go through these things, and guess what? You think the Lord is just not gonna give us that crown of life?
Right.
You think the Lord is just this unmerciful king that he's not gonna give us these things? No.
That's unbalanced, man. Because they say the unjust balance is abomination to the Lord, man. That's balance. You got the righteous, you got the wicked, man.
That's right, man. Because the Lord is always dealing with the righteous, man. Even though he controls the wicked, but still at the end of the day, this movie is about the righteous man, coming against the wicked, man. And we gonna come upon all these things that you see. Hey, that's why the Lord told us to be faithful, man. Hey, that's why I said it's no precious the death of his saints. You get that? Unless you got something. Hey, that's why I also tell you in John 15 that it's no precious thing that a man will lay down his life for a friend.
Yep.
Hey, what did Yahweh Shai did? Yahweh Shai laid down his life for us. And you think we not gonna go through the same things?
Right, the scripture said the servant is not greater than his master. You know, so we gonna go through things like that as well, man. But this Psalm chapter 116 and verse 15. Precious in the sight of Yahweh is the death of his saints.
It's the death of his saints, man. Because guess what? We faithful. Hey, we don't matter what we go through, no matter what come upon us. Hey, we gonna die for what? The name of Yahweh Shem Shai. Hey, we gonna get that account. You got your apocrypha. You gonna get 2nd Maccabees 7.
All the Maccabee brothers.
Yeah. Because hey, that's man, when this topic always come upon us and through the spirit and we uplifting brothers, man. Hey, that story of them brothers, man, uplift our soul, man, because they was faithful no matter what came upon us.
And their mother knew. Their mother knew that the Lord was controlling everything. She was like, "No, you're gonna get it back." She already had it in her spirit. Nothing being tortured.
That's right.
Where you gonna start at?
It was a spirit. When they were torching the first one.
Alright, this 2nd Maccabees chapter 7, and I'll start at 1. It said, "It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh."
Right. So they was taken and being tried to eat pork, eating swine flesh, because that's what pork is, man. And let's see what happens. Keep going.
And were tormented with scourges and whips.
Right. So they was beaten, scourges and whipped, man. Imagine being beat just to eat fucking pork, man. Keep going.
And it says, "But one of them that spake first said thus, What wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers."
And that's what it's coming down to, man. You got to remember, that's what it's coming down to. Are you preparing your mind to die for the name of Yahweh Shem Shai, for the law of Yahweh Shem Shai, man? You got to really picture that, man. And be like, "I'm ready, Lord." And keep that spirit upon me, Lord. Keep going.
And it says, "Then the king being in a rage."
So the king was mad. He pissed off. "What you gonna do? What?" Keep going.
He said, "Commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on."
Looking on, man. And that's what encouraged the rest of them, man. Hey, he went through it. He said, man, I'm going to die for the Lord. So you think, what's the rest of them do? Mm-hmm. They had that same spirit like, oh, my brother going out, I'm going to go out the same. Keep going.
And it says, now when he was thus mammoth and all his members, he commanded him being yet alive to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus, the Lord power looketh upon us, and in truth had comfort in us, as Moses and his song was witness to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants.
And his servants, man, because guess what? They comfort one another, man, with the scriptures, man, and had the mindset of dying for the Lord, man. Keep going.
It says, so when the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock.
So he made a lack of them. They tried to make a mocking stock to break them. And they gonna try to break brothers, man. Remember, this devil have strategic attacks in line to try to break one another. They might put your baby in front of you. You might put your mother in front of you, your brother. Hey, remember these things, man. Esau don't care. He just wants you to transgress and get you out the truth. Remember that, man. Because he said, what, if the Lord gave him a decree, if you can measure out the heavens and go in the deeps of the sea, and he said, I'll cast my people out. You think the Lord, Esau don't want to do that, man? He tried to dig into heaven or go down deep into the sea because he want to rule forever. You got to remember, this devil said his inward thoughts that his house shall continue forever, man. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And it says, and when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? But he answered in his own language and said, no. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did.
Right. The other brother did, man. They went right in order and killed them one by one, man. Keep going.
And when he was at the last gasp, he said, thou like a fury takest us out of this present life, but the king of the world shall raise us up.
Shall raise her up. So guess what? They're going to come back. They didn't care about no death. Man, we laugh at death, man. Because death is just nothing but a transition of the spirit back to the Heavenly Father and the body going to the grave, man.
It's temporary.
It's temporary, man. Keep going.
Who have died for his laws unto everlasting life.
Everlasting life. That sound what? Like a crown of life, right?
Verse 10, it say, after him was the third made a mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, these I have had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them, and from him I hope to receive them again.
Again? Keep going.
And so much that the king and that the word with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. Now when this man was dead, also that they terminated and mangled the fourth in like manner.
Right. So this man had so much courage. They was wooed like, damn, you gonna die for your power like that? And hell yeah, we gonna die, man. And that's the spirit we have to have. Keep going.
It says, so when he was ready to die, he said, thus it is good, man put to death by man, to look for hope from the Most High.
And that's the key. We got to look for hope. Remember, man, the Lord is faithful, man. The Lord is not going to put nothing that the Lord on us that we can't bear. So we going through trials and tribulations. Hey, the Lord apparently know that we can bear it, man. It say in a way, even in a way, the Lord have even I'm butchering it, Salakia, but in temptation, the Lord have a way to us to escape, man. Hey, the Lord could have intervened, man. Remember, we were working with the greatest power of all. He could send an angel. But at this time, these things are set up in the scriptures to comfort us in the time that we about to go in. They say what? Romans 15:4, the thing was written for 4 times, was written for our learning. So that we might have hope.
Through patience, we might have
comfort and hope.
Yep.
And that's the key. That's why these things is put in there. Keep going.
And it says, to look for hope from the Most High, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Afterward they brought the fifth also, and mangled him. Then looked he unto the king, and said, Thou hast power over man, thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou will. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of the Most High, but abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed.
Right.
After him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves,
That's right.
having sinned against our power.
So we went off. And remember, you got to remember that. The reason we down here and going through the trials and tribulation that we going through is because we went off, first and foremost, man. So, hey, how do we get gain our trust back to the Most High? It's nothing more but to die in the truth, to serve the Lord and die really doing the work, man. That's the greatest battle of all, man. Keep going.
And it says, Therefore marvelous things are done unto us. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against the Most High, that thou shalt escape unpunished. But the mother was marvelous above all, and worthy of honorable memory, for when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of 1 day, she bare it with a good courage, because of the hope that she had in Yahweh.
The hope, man. A hope. Because guess what, man? Hey, they set an example. The first one to the second one, the third one to the fourth one to the fifth one, all the way to the seventh one, man. Completion, man. Keep going.
And it says, Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach.
With a manly stomach, man. With a manly stomach, man. Keep going.
She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you birth nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of men, and found out the beginning of all things.
So she knew the power. She knew she didn't have no power, man. Keep going.
Will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again.
Again? So what? Proving reincarnation that you're gonna come back. For all you fucking scoffers that don't believe in reincarnation. Keep going.
As ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake.
For the law's sake, man. Because it's all about the truth. About him. About his word that he gave to us, man. That we supposed to kept from the beginning. It was an agreement. If we did that, we wouldn't be on the bottom. But it was all set up to what? To have us a learning experience so that we can go through the things that we about to suffer today. Keep going.
Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and a happy man, if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life.
And that's the last one, right? Yeah, they gonna do that. They gonna be like, baby, they gonna call your mother in or your girl in. Just baby, please, just go ahead, transgress against the Heavenly Father. And guess what? They didn't, man. When you keep on reading, man, unless you want to finish it, you can finish it. It's a little bit more, right? It's a lot more, right? You go ahead.
Let me see what was that. Verse 25 said, But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son.
Right.
But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant.
Right. So she tricked him. She said, son, go out for the Lord, man. Fuck this heathen. Talking about he was going to get us riches and this and that. So what? The Lord promised us even more, greater, man. Keep going.
It say, to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner, O my son, have pity upon me, that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee such 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, and consider that the Most High made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Fear not this terminer, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren.
With thy brethren, man, and that's the thing, man. We're gonna die in the truth to be reigned with Yahweh Shai, man, with our brethren in the kingdom of heaven. If we die in the truth, because it's scripture tell you that son should not touch death.
Taste death.
Yeah, taste death. But hey, we have to be faithful into death, man. Because hey, we all gonna get tried on different levels. So that's it, brother. If you got anything else. Close out.
Hey, but with that, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai,
Ba'ashem,
B'Kakadash.
I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace, blessing, and salutations to the whole elect of Israel. Shalom and Abba Babal.
Shalom, Abba Babal.